Hey, yeah, word. Wanna hear it, wanna talk about it, word. Wanna hear it, wanna talk about it. Know it's all about the word. You know it's word. Yo, what up? It's G-Stylez, and thank you for tuning in to another episode of the Word Podcast. And today I'm joined by a good friend who's also a great musician and founder of the Howlin Dog Music Group, Don Richmond. Thank you so much for being here with us today.
Hey, thanks, Gerald. Always a pleasure to hang out with you and talk about whatever might be coming up, you know?
Yeah, so first of all, let our listeners know that don't already know what the Howlin Dog Music Group is all about.
Well, it's a nonprofit that we started 3 years ago that has a few different functions, but the one that is really happening right now is that we're trying to raise money to give small grants to recording artists, musical recording artists, to put their music out, to get their music recorded. The reason that we felt like that was a necessary thing to do is because so much of the income stream from recording and all of that has dried up because physical media, in other words, you used to be able to go to a show and the artist was going to be selling a lot of CDs or cassette tapes or whatever. That doesn't happen nearly as much. It happens some, but so much of the physical media has been replaced by streaming. As you know, being a recording artist, it's difficult to make a significant income from streaming. If you're one of the major stars, then yeah, you make significant income from streaming. But you know, like I said, you have better streaming numbers than most people, probably anybody I know, and you can testify that it's not something that's going to support you, in a significant way, So we felt that was a real need, and that it was a shame if when we heard people say, "Oh, why bother making a recording?" It's like, well, because you might have something that the world needs, and that's an idealistic thing to say, but hey, what the heck? I'm a songwriter, I'm an idealistic person, and I think that that's true. And so we want to do what we can to help. And this sort of grew out of, I've run a recording studio since probably 1990 or something like that, doing recordings for people. And along the way, that kind of evolved to where we were trying to fulfill the functions of a record label a little bit more, in the sense we would try to help people with fundraising or financing on the front end, and we would try to help them with distribution on the back end after the recording was done. But we never felt like we could really do as much as we wanted. A few years ago, with conversations with family members and other artists, we thought a nonprofit way made a lot of sense, where we could just raise money. It's kind of like a Kickstarter or a Patreon, except that it's for a larger group of people. And I'm hoping that we can become well established enough that we can attract funding from larger donors, larger sources, foundations and corporations and governmental sources, if those things continue to exist, which is something that an individual artist would have a hard time doing. And, we think that we could grow it into something very, very significant. But we've been very excited that even this will be our second year of giving grants, that we've been able to get that far. We've been able to get to where, hey, we're actually contributing money to artists to get their music recorded. We gave 8 grants last year. Most of them $3,000, which is not going to change anybody's life, but it's enough to help them do a recording. It's nothing enough to help them do, a small recording, 2 or 3 songs or something like that, or a piece of a larger recording, a chunk of recording an album, and even a significant chunk sometimes. So it's exciting, but really the thing that I'm here to really announce is that the applications for this granting season are open now. They opened March 1st. It's a 3-week window. March 22nd will close the window for applications. This is the 4th one now we're talking, and we've already had, I haven't even looked today, we've had, 12, 15, probably more than that applications now. We'll probably get, we could do a betting pool on how many we'll get, but I'm guessing something 70, 80, or who knows, maybe more than that. The applications are open to people doing original music. Doesn't have to be all original, just some original music from Colorado, New Mexico, and Texas. Those are the areas that we have kind of said, okay, we can't do everything for everybody, but we'll start here.
So then how does somebody apply for these grants?
Just go to howlindogmusicgroup.org. There's no G in Howlin. HOWLINDOGMUSICGROUP.org. howlindogmusicgroup.org. And you'll see it right on the front page. There's a little button to click into, and it's all online. You can do the application. The application is a Google form, basically. But, we want to hear who you are and what you're all about. So, it's not just fill in a couple blanks and you're done. We want to know what you're up to and what you hope to do with your music and things like that. And there's, little places to put links to music that you've done and your social media and all that kind of thing, so we can get a sense of what you're up to. And then there's a committee of people from our board that will go through the applications and do the very difficult job of choosing, the people who will get the grants for this year. And it is difficult because, I want to give it to everybody. If anybody has the guts to put their music out, to me, they deserve all the help I could possibly give them, But unfortunately, we don't have the resources to give them to everybody that it applies. But, we're doing what we can and hopefully going to grow it. Another aspect of this is it's a great time and reason to invite people who might want to support us in this to become contributors, to donate, to become monthly patrons, because that's where we're getting this money from. Yeah. We just started asking a whole bunch of friends saying, hey, we think this would be a good idea. Would you throw some money into this? And a bunch of people said, sure. So that's where we're getting the money. It's not coming from the sky or the government or some other magical place. It's coming from other people who are friends and fans of music. So if you're one of those and this sounds like a good idea to you, we'd love to have you join us too. If you go to that same howlindogmusicgroup.org, you'll see a donate button that will take you into that procedure, and you can choose how you want to do it and stuff. So it's been fun. It's easy to just sit back and complain about the world and about the music business, which it's easy to find things to complain about. But it feels good to say, well, let's see what we can do in our own little corner of the universe,
Yeah, I think that's great myself, as a musician especially.
Yeah.
And so is this open to all different genres, or is it more for like singer-songwriter and stuff?
It is open to all different genres. I mean, we come from a place, basically my recording studio and the music that we had put out as Howlin Dog Records. It was an Americana kind of singer-songwriter genre. But for this, we're not limiting it. We may have, it's hard to get out of where you're coming from as far as what appeals to us. But no, we're open to anything, really. We encourage anybody to apply. You can help pry the doors off of our perceptions, open us up to new stuff, whatever. And, and it's a difficult thing to judge. It's very subjective. Part of it, it's just, is this person engaging the world in a meaningful way? And is their music, are they using their music to impact people, the world, whatever? I don't know. I couldn't even tell you what the criteria are exactly, but that's part of it, certainly. And that goes across all genres. There's no doubt about that.
And then before we started the interview, you were also talking about possibly archiving some music as well, right?
Yeah, that's one of the. There's sort of three arms of Howlin Dog Music Group that we are interested in developing. One is this one of raising money and giving grants to musicians. Another one is doing educational outreach, workshops and things like that. We're working on our first songwriting workshop, that we'll be talking about, and it'll be, I don't know, it probably won't be till the fall or something like that, but Susan Gibson and Eliza Gilkison, two fabulous songwriters and fabulously successful songwriters, are going to do this workshop. Susan Gibson wrote Wide Open Spaces that the Dixie Chicks recorded back in 1999 or whatever that was. It's sold 17 million copies or whatever, So even though she says that was a fluke, it's like she wrote the song. So, and Eliza is a long-time, just wonderful songwriter. But the thing that you mentioned, that's the third arm, is doing the archive. And part of this is an outgrowth of me running the recording studio for so many years. I never threw anything away. I never throw anything away because that music is precious to me. Even though the people may move on, they don't think about it anymore. Still, it's a historical thing to me, and it is a precious thing to me. So I've got boxes and boxes and boxes and boxes of tape, both analog tape, digital tape, and then untold terabytes of hard drive of music recorded in this area. And to me, that's a precious thing. So the archive idea grew out of sort of me wondering, what the heck am I going to do with all this stuff? I mean, I'm old enough to be looking at, well, what happens when I'm not here anymore? So, well, this can be the seed. It can be the starting point of a regional archive of music, because there's stuff in here that to me is very precious, of people who have since died. And, it's like that music doesn't exist anywhere except on that piece of tape or that hard drive, or whatever. So we want to get things transferred to digital formats where they are on tape, so because tape degrades. And I've done a fair amount of this already, but there's a lot more to do, and we'll be probably trying to write some grants to fund someone who can come in and work on that, and then see how far we can take it. Ideally, we'd love to have it housed and in some institution that is ongoing, that won't go away. Mm-hmm. So that's something we're just getting going. But we want to let people know. I've already received a bunch of stuff from a studio over South Pueblo that closed down, that the folks running it had passed away. A woman that was helping distribute their estate basically called me and said, "Hey, what should I do with all this stuff?" I said, "I'll take it.
Send it this way."
Yeah, and it's just in boxes like my stuff, but at least it's not in a landfill.
Yeah.
It exists somewhere with somebody that hopefully can do something with it. So anyway, that is, that's part of what we're doing for sure, and part of what we want to do in the future.
Well, if you're barely joining us out there, I've been speaking with musician Don Richmond, who is here talking about the Howlin Dog Music Group, talking about the grants that they have out for this year and the applications that are out as well right now for that, and some of the possible projects in the future. So, Don, is there anything else you'd like to discuss before we wrap up?
Oh, that's probably good for now. It was mainly the grants are open, and we encourage people, if you fit those criteria, if you're doing some original music, you live in Colorado, New Mexico, or Texas, we encourage you to check that out. It's howlindogmusicgroup.org. No G in Howlin Dog. And, it's pretty self-explanatory once you get there.
Well, thank you so much for coming in today and talking with me. I know you're busy all the time, and you just got back from doing some gigs yourself, I'm sure. Yeah, always, and finishing up some stuff in the studio. Thankfully, I still get to do all that. So yeah, always plenty to do on. But thank you so much, Gerald. Always appreciate you being willing to help whatever's going on, in the community.
Well, thank you for joining us on another episode of the Word Podcast. We'll catch you next time around. Peace. Hey, yeah. Word. Wanna hear it, wanna talk about it. Word. Wanna hear it, wanna talk about it. Know it's all about the word. It's word.